Well folks, welcome back to another video from myself, Fraser, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys enjoy the content, and I've been all over the world with Flight Simulator, but my core is my home country of New Zealand, Aotearoa, New Zealand, and there's only so much you can do without flying the same routes all the time, and I've just gone through my content, and I have been flying to Rotorua many times. I can't help it. It's my home city, my hometown. It's where I was born and raised, and spent a significant part of my life there. Even though when I think about it now, it really makes you feel old to think that coming up to 40, I've spent basically half of my time now in Rotorua and half of my time elsewhere. That's around about 21 when I've left Rotorua, so I've decided, instead of going to Rotorua, I've realised, because I felt like I have done it, but I haven't. I've been there a few times, but I'm going to head on down to Invercargill, because why not? It would have been a place where freight aircraft go. There's the world-renowned bluff oysters, which are massive. Oh, a little Q300 has appeared. Oh, they'll be heading on off soon. I have no idea why that's there, but like I mentioned, this is Woodburn, and they've got it is Air Force Base, and they do service aircraft here, and 737s and A320s are more than capable of landing on this runway. I believe it's I think I'll have a look actually, but I'm sure it's, could be wrong, but I'm sure it's like 1.4, so it's definitely long enough if you're empty and whatnot, or yeah, definitely capable of taking Airbuses. I do believe it's rated for Airbuses. But anyway, yeah, flying off down to Invercargill, so we'll get ourselves sorted up, start up our flight plan, and we'll head on down to the bottom of the world, Invercargill, or as the Rolling Stones called it when they came here, the arsehole of the world. And I don't think they'd be too wrong with that statement. Nah, I love Invercargill. It's a really lovely, quaint town. Right, we'll set up my radios, my course, while I'm here. We're going to do a bit of mixture of VOR and NDB flying, so we'll give it a go, see how it goes. Just setting my courses now while that Q300 takes off. Not much point rushing things. 294 is what I'm setting this one for. Right, we will... Oh, that's right, we'll set our fuel and our weight quickly. So our fuel is going to be quite a heavy load, is 3.4. We'll make it we'll make it 3.5, and our overall takeoff weight is going to be 1800, so I'll make it 1700 just to keep it just under 1800, just to keep it on the lighter side. And we'll see how well this takes off this time. As if you've noticed, I have been having a few issues with takeoff. Right, we're just going to edit this flight plan just a touch. We're just going to take out this last one here. Right, that's our flight plan all sorted. I'll just take out this waypoint here. Right, that's our flight plan. Start that flight plan. Right, we will... It's another 18 degrees, so I'll set this fuel trim to 20 or thereabouts. As I say, it's just interesting how this gets slower and slower and slower when you do subsequent turnaround flights. I think just overall that seems to be the common theme in Flight Simulator 2020, and I'm guessing 2024 is... I don't think it's really set up to doing lots of multiple legs. I feel like the aircraft just get progressively worse, or whatever that may be. Right, that's taken off, so we can now go ahead and start our own departure. So we will turn on all of these signs, turn on our nav lights, don't know why I turned them off. Come up here and we'll turn on our fuel pumps. We will reset these fuel flow things. Right, I think we're basically pretty good to go. We'll just start up engines now, shall we? We'll turn on our anti-collision light, also known as your beaker light, and fire up engine number 1. Oh, we should shut the doors, but luckily it's just the right hand side engine, so right, we've just got our last minute paperwork there. Right, we'll lock these all the way out to the lock position. Right, next engine, port engine, starter up. Get that generator turned on. Introduce the fuel. Select it to open. And we'll look for the respective departure for this airport. So we'll now select open. Now the engine's well and truly started. So by the looks of this, for this departure here, we should be doing this turn out like so. Yeah, which would make sense because it is mountainous at the southern end of the airport. So once we get 1500 feet, we basically do this little back turn here, and I will select 661. Okay, let's do it. And once we're, I'm guessing, above at least 6,000 feet, we can start our turn, or there is 11,000 feet mountains there, so we will also take that into consideration. But once we get to above 10,000, beyond 10 nautical miles, I'm assuming that's when we do our turn back onto the VOR and head outbound. So we remember, we'll set this to 64. Right, we'll go up to here and we will select, turn on our generator, select aircraft and turn on these alternators. Deploy two lots of flaps, and we are good to go. turn on the pitot heat, scroll these up to 100%, and let's see if this aircraft behaves this time, eh? Alright folks, let's give this a go, eh? We'll reset our fuel one more time. Sounds like the engine's spooled up now that we've introduced the fuel. Right, let's go. So I'll just change that departure to the Fines F5. Right, I reckon we're good to go, folks. Let's do it. Oh, for some reason the big doors opened up, so we'll close that. Right, yep, I think we're good to go, folks. Let's get into it. Just reset the flight directors. Get that engine up. Oh, sorry little plane, didn't see you there. That looks like a sounds aircraft too. Right, we're just going to get going. It seems to be a busy, it is actually a busy airport, this Blenheim Airport. Right, we're going to get going. What we will do is we'll wait for this, we'll let this aircraft land and we will pull off to this little side bay here. I believe in real life this is where they do military testing out here. And I believe at one stage I think they would load up the aircraft with weapons here too, so I'm just going to do a tight turn in here. Right, we'll carry on with our departure. We're ready for departure. We'll just backtrack a bit more, give us some more runway to play with. I love that sound of the engines powering down like that, the old turboprops, the old darts. Right, we are good to go. What we will do this time is we'll just get the engine spooled up just a little bit, get that nose trim right up to help us with our departure. And for some reason this thing is not going into the 14 range. There must be some sort of bug there, eh? Don't know what's going on with this aircraft. think it's going to be another borderline takeoff, this one. Yeah, there definitely is a bug with this aircraft for this particular, might be the livery, might be, who knows, but yeah, I have had this in the past with this. For some reason these engines won't power up. There is something wrong with this aircraft. I just wish, just in general, just wish aircraft were able to do multiple legs without things just getting worse and worse and worse. It's just one of those annoying bugs in the game in general. I'm not too sure if it's the aircraft or it's just the actual game, the platform, but yeah, I've always struggled with the more legs you do, the more things start breaking, and it's just a little bit frustrating. Because that's the whole point in doing these sort of flights, is doing lots of multiple legs, not having to close down the game and start again to clear some stupid bug. Alright, we'll track back out. As we fly on over Palmerston North, and hopefully we'll capture this outbound as we go through the clouds. What we will do, we'll put these into open position, these throttles, we will prop sync them. And I do like this flying between the two different cloud layers, that's really cool. Right, we'll change this to standard now that we've been given our standard. So 1013 it is. And then once we get beyond 10,000 feet, we can 10 nautical miles, which let's start our turn back towards the VOR, and we'll set this up for 164. I'm gonna carry on pulling around like so to aim back for the Blenheim VOR. Wait for that needle to be pointing up to there, so we are following that, and we can now attempt autopilot. So we're going to turn on our flight directors, we'll turn on our autopilot and go AS, and that has stopped that annoying pitch down, which is brilliant. And that is that, yeah, that autopilot is on. Sweet, so that's now working, and we will now start tracking this VOR and head on out to Kaikoura. Actually, yeah, we'll start tuning in the Kaikoura NDB. Right, we can turn off these landing lights and we'll start tuning this NDB to 350. And that's why we did that big backtrack, so we definitely clear these, definitely the Kaikoura ranges there, and this would be a brilliant day actually to get the helicopter out and work your way up the mountain there. Alright, we're getting close to capturing our VOR, so we will now go ahead and turn it around and activate VOR mode. Now we'll get the Christchurch frequency tuned in, 15.3. While we're here, we'll get the Timaru one and the next one, and this one here to 366. So we fly on straight over the Kaikoura ranges here. Sweet, and we have now picked up the Kaikoura's NDB, so we'll just head on out on that radio of 164, which is basically where it's pointing at now, so that's brilliant. And we'll we'll cruise on at 18,000 feet. It's a decent flight to get up to that altitude. Better set up this. Oh, it's really set to, oh no, 194, set 194 in. And we will go into heading mode. And we'll just do this manually for a bit. Actually, I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to see if these DMEs do work in here too. So see if, oh no, wrong one. It's this one here, 14. Oh yeah, it does pick up the it does pick up the DMEs as well, so that's good. Preset the Christchurch frequency while we're there. And then we're going to be setting our course up for our outbound once we fly over the Kaikoura's NDB. Set up for our outbound, which is going to be 194. Then we do our highly precision flying. So cheating with this, but our little pointer's pointing out over there, so we want to try and bring this back on track, which we don't have to worry about anymore because we've got the help of the Christchurch VOR. But just for all intents and purposes, you just wait for this needle to get on round like that, and then we'll scroll the heading bug to sort of line up a bit, bearing in mind that we're fighting these crosswinds as well. And that's how you roughly use VOR NDB sort of navigation. It's not accurate, but it's better than nothing. And we can might as well we'll just flick on over to the Christchurch. Flick on over to the Christchurch VOR now and navigate using that. It makes life so much easier. Alright, heading on over to Christchurch now. Welcome back, folks. Just had to leave there, but we're now flying over Dunedin here, getting really close to our arrival into Invercargill. So we're going to be just going to be setting this outbound, heading now into the actual runway. We're basically arriving straight into Invercargill's runway. So we'll get that set up. And no, we haven't got any indication on our runway yet, so which has just come in now as we speak. Yeah, and Dunedin is really interesting. The actual VOR is a wee way from the airport here. It's on one of these hills down below us, and that's the actual airport there. But Dunedin too, weirdly, has a ILS at the airport, so it has ILS approaches there. Another airport we definitely do need to fly into is Dunedin, as we battle these strong crosswinds high up in the altitude here. And that's right, I'm gonna see what parking I'm gonna be using. I'll set it for gate 1, but we'll change our arrival settings. Right, we're going to apply that. We're just going to go straight in, and just like that, we've been given our we've got radio contact with our VOR in Dunedin and Invercargill, so we're going to switch over to that. So you might have seen me, I was just setting up my my radios and whatnot, so we are all set for our arrival into Invercargill. Once we get once we get about 70 odd, actually we can start our descent now, so we're going to start our descent for 2,000 feet. And we're going to set our fuel trim to 100%. And we'll set these to lock. And we've been given our QNH, so that's going to be set to 992, so very low pressure. Like so. We can now turn on our landing lights and our taxi lights, get ourselves all ready for our arrival. So yeah, effectively we're just flying straight in. We can shallow out our descent too, actually. Don't want to be dragging ourselves over the mountains going too slow, so we'll just shallow that out just for a little bit. But yeah, we're essentially just flying straight in for our approach. Once we get to 6.4, we'll start our 3 degrees pitch down. And yeah, this is probably, I think this is my first flight to this part of the world in New Zealand. As we come in for land at the southernmost airport in New Zealand. Well, I guess the southernmost commercial, mind you, there is a flight from Invercargill to Stewart Island, which is, I guess you could say that's still a scheduled flight too, that's still a commercial flight, which is just a bit further, but this is our most southerly major airport in New Zealand mainland. But you could say, as a pub question, the southernmost official airport in New Zealand is in Scott Base in Antarctica, or Ross Islands there, so I guess you could get a technicality on that one. But yeah, it appears to be another strong gustily windy day here in Invercargill as well. So that would be fun trying to fight that. Alright, we're slowly coming up to our initial altitude there of 2,000 feet, so we'll start thinking about just raising the nose ever so slightly. What we could almost do is just see if we can set it up for our whole landing here. Right, we're getting our aircraft all set up for our landing now. Full flaps out. We're just going to raise the aircraft just a little bit before it settles down, and then we're going to try and set our vertical speed to about there, and looking around about 500 to 600 feet per minute. Going just a bit too slow for my liking, so I've just speed it up just a touch. and take control of the aircraft and just bring it back on the center line just a bit. We'll just cancel that. And we'll just turn off the flight directors. Battling a bit of winds here, as you can see on my, well, mind you, it's 10 knots, that's actually not too bad. Just a slight 10 knot crosswind. And touchdown. And here we are, folks, arrived into Invercargill Airport here. It's actually quite a warm day here for a spring day here. And we're just going to do a little U-turn here. Spin this plane around, get that throttle up, we'll raise the flaps, we can turn off the runway, the landing lights, and we'll head on to our parking bay, and that will be this little segment done with the well, definitely when we come back again, we'll start off in this airpost livery and we'll do a flight from Dunedin. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that little flight, and sorry for the little bugs with this aircraft. For some reason it's the throttles won't max out on takeoff, which was a bit of a pain in the bum there. See, they seem to be stuck there. Usually that little needle will go all the way out to the red line there. Yeah, seems to be quite a bit of a delay there actually. Right, turn off the taxi lights, and here we are, folks. We're here in Invercargill Airport. We'll find the little parking bay, and that will be our flight. And with this stand, we will point the aircraft out for into the west there. And we'll just stop there. and we'll get that ground power unit connected, and that is our flight. Well, thank you for coming along with that flight there, guys, for coming along with the journey. Those who were there with us, I hope you enjoyed that flight, and we'll come back again next time, and we'll definitely we'll do a flight leaving here at Invercargill, and hopefully next time we won't have those engine issues that we seem to be getting. But apart from that, thank you for joining us, and that was a pretty decent trip along around New Zealand there, doing some rural flying in a way we weren't flying out of Wellington or your main centres. We're just doing some freight hauling between the smaller airports, and we will leave you there, folks, and I hope you come back again next time for another adventure, wherever that may be. See you later.